and personnel from the Ghana Police Service. This is what a crowd looks like. It's a sea of people on this road, on the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue. For previous protests that I've covered, I was able to see the end of the protest. That is not the case today. It's a sea of people who have poured onto the streets today to demand the resignation of the governor of the central bank and his two deputies. Yes, sir. What's your name?
My name is Frank.
Frank what?
Bobuafo.
Okay. You've seen the disagreements here.
Yes.
Protesters want to use the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue Road. Police says no, use the Castle Road.
Oh, we are on a peaceful demonstration. And we agree on the route. But we don't know why they have changed the route. But whatever the case, we arrive at our destination.
So what do you make of what is happening here? The disagreement, the near scuffle here?
In fact, I don't understand. The police, they are Ghanaians. We are all suffering. We are all suffering. Let us pass. If they have allowed us, by now we are gone. They are causing unnecessary tension. But whatever the case, we arrive at our destination.
We want to give you a lot of placards here. Addison must go. No jobs for the youth. We can't buy Kenke. You can see some headquarters also here taking part in the protest.
Those are sights and sounds from the Occupy BOG protest. If you heard Maxwell Agbagba, he says they're actually at the central business district heading towards the Bank of Ghana. They have already notified that they will picket at the Bank of Ghana premises. But earlier there was some misunderstanding between the organizers and the police. But they say they will still get to their destination. Listen to the leaders.
What we are seeing today. We think that this particular governor should not be allowed to stay in office. He's a printer, and we all know what printing does. Printing of money is like an alcoholism. The perceived good effect comes immediate, and the hangover comes after the party. This Akufo-Addo government, together with the governor, hasn't been fair to the people of Ghana. In fact, Governor Addison printed for President Akufo-Addo for them to live a champagne lifestyle on an appetition budget. We can't continue this way. Today, look at what is happening to our economy. Ghanaians are struggling, finding it very difficult to survive. In fact, some are struggling to eat 3 times in a day. We can't continue this way. And so clearly, what is happening in this country cannot continue. We want this government out. The governor must go, and the president must be allowed to appoint a new set of Bank of Ghana team. And that's what we're waiting for.
We have the minority leader here, Castella Tufosin. Let's find out from it. You're live on Joy News on the AM show right now. The last time you spoke on Joy FM, you had disagreements. You said that you had disagreements with the police on the route for this demonstration. We want to find out, is the minority, are the protesters going to go with the police directive, the route to use for this demonstration?
We are ready to work with the Ghana Police Service. They are indeed here to protect us. This protest is organized by the minority in Parliament, the official opposition in this country. we have every right under the Constitution to protest. And as part of our oversight responsibilities, we can use this route to express our revulsion against the conduct of the central bank. Our position is simple. The Ghana Police Service must show us where the security zone ends, the so-called security zones. We will comply with that. We will get to the end of the security zone with the protesters. And at that point, I, together with the leadership of the NDC minority in Parliament, must be allowed to walk to the central bank to present petition that should be received by the governor himself. He must be the one to receive our petition. I won't just hand over to him. We'll read it to his hearing and would demand his exit today. If he fails to exit, there will be series of actions against him.
So what happens if the governor of the Bank of Ghana does not come out to receive your petition?
Then we will not live there.
You will not live there?
We will not live there until he receives the petition.
You stay there throughout the night?
Yeah.
So tomorrow?
We'll live till Thy Kingdom. We'll stay there till Thy Kingdom come. He must be the one to receive the position, nothing more, nothing less.
Not even a rep from the central bank.
Him. We are not. We are not protesting against staff. We are protesting against the conduct of a governor.
So don't you believe that
against the conduct of the governor?
Intended to send a signal over a disagreement or dissatisfaction with a particular conduct. So the route that is chosen for that protest is significant and important. I do not see why it should be a problem for Ghanaians to march to the Bank of Ghana to present a petition to the governor. I do not see which serious violation of law and order that would constitute. So I'm quite frankly surprised that the police wants to create the impression that it is such a major difficulty and that they cannot offer security. The people who have showed up for this demonstration have no intention of going to cause chaos or going to engage in any unlawful acts. They just want to show presence at the destination where the greatest harm has been done to the Ghanaian economy. So I don't think that any problem should arise. The police should have adequate capacity to ensure that no law is breached or that law and order is not undermined. And therefore we are determined to achieve that objective of going to the Bank of Ghana to present our petition to the governor.
Why the Bank of Ghana and not the Jubilee House like we've seen in recent time? If you say that the back stopped with the president,
absolutely,
one would say that it should be at the Jubilee House, not the Bank of Ghana.
We are aware that it is the president and the sidekick, Alhaji Bawumia, who are behind the collapse of the Ghanaian economy. We are fully aware of that. But the governor is symbolic to the extent that it symbolizes institutional decay. You know, the governor has adequate powers in Ghanaian law to prevent what happened. He has a right to refuse to comply with any request that has detrimental effects on the Ghanaian economy, but he didn't do it. So the protest is symbolic in that it is to send a signal to any and everybody conspiring with the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government to do damage to this Ghanaian economy, that the people of Ghana will hold them accountable. So it is the first in a series of steps to drum home that point.
And what happens if the governor and his two deputies, what happens if they do not resign?
Well, we will not relent. We will not relent in making that demand until he goes. So a real showdown is about to take place.
A real showdown?
Absolutely, absolutely.
The governor is a coward. Dr. Edison is a coward. I mean, and this is not going to be the first time. I've served on the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament for 7 years, and at least every year we invite him twice to appear because of the Auditor General's report. And I can say on authority that Dr. Edison himself has appeared before the Public Accounts Committee maybe 2 or 3 times in 7 years. He's a coward. He runs away from his own work, from his own failings. Most times he sends his deputy, Maxwell. And I won't be surprised that today it will be Maxwell who would have the balls to come out. Edison himself won't come out. Edison is a coward, and I'm putting it to him. You are a coward, and you have failed. You are a colossal failure. Because look, where we sit as a country, let's call a spade a spade. We have 196 central banks for 196 countries across the world. In 2022, the Central Bank of Ghana, the Bank of Ghana, came last. We had the worst performing currency in the world. world. Our currency was worse than the currency of Yemen, was worse than the currency of Syria, worse than the currency of South Sudan, worse than the currency of Yemen, worse than the currency of Ukraine, Zimbabwe. Our currency was worse. So come on, if you send your child to school and the teacher you ask to teach your child, or the lesson teacher who is teaching your child at home, goes to write the licensure exam and in Ghana comes last, would you continue? But what even annoys us as young people the most is that in 2022 they increased their allowances to themselves by 100% and paid themselves 8.7 million as allowances for coming last. This is the failing of the governor of the Bank of Ghana. This is the same governor of the Bank of Ghana who in 2022, apart from borrowing in excess of the 5%, 38 billion, to the government of Ghana in clear violation of the Bank of Ghana Act.
All right, let's go back to the Occupy BOG protest, where they are at the moment. We're hearing of a stalemate between the organizers and the police. Maxwell Agbagba will bring us all the updates. Maxwell?
Hello, Aisha, can you hear me?
And Claire Maxwell.
Yes, Aisha, the situation has not changed. We're still here on the Kwame Nkrumah
of waiting for the leadership. The leadership is behind right now, but we are getting closer to them. We are waiting for them to get closer so that they will see what will happen. That behind the class of police officers, all of them in route control here, this mounted barricade, and they're saying that the protesters would have to use the Castle Road.
Maxwell, have they been able to present their protest to the governor of the Bank of Ghana?
No, not yet. Not yet. They've not been able to present their petition. In fact, they are still here on the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue. The Kwame Nkrumah Avenue road. That road connects to the central business district. So they are not yet at the central bank, that's the Bank of Ghana. They are standing on the street because the police has barricaded the road. Barricaded the road, they formed a human wall on that set, and then also mounted barricades. In fact, I've seen a water cannon. Like we saw some weeks ago, also, there. You can see many of them agitated at this point, angry that they are not being allowed to use road in front of the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue set. Let's see what is going to happen. Let's get close up and see if we can speak to. Let's find out what they make of this.
Maxwell Agbagba there with some updates from the Occupy BOG protest, and we understand there's a stalemate between the organizers and the police. We're told that they were not agreeing on the route, which has been the problem since day one. Maxwell Agbagba is back. Maxwell?
I don't know if you have information on what is happening ahead of us. The road has been barricaded by the police. They formed a human wall. They've mounted barricades. The demonstrators want to use the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue Road. The police says they should use the Castle Road. We know that's been a source of disagreement between youth organizers and the police. What do you make of the situation?
Well, as far as we are aware, the agreement was for us to go this way and
Castle Road.
Yes, and take a left turn. Our intention really is to get to the new Bank of Ghana building where the construction is taking place. That's the site right after the Electoral Commission. That is our focus. And so the information we are getting is that some of the demonstrators are unhappy that the police want us to truncate the movement at this point and take the left turn. And I think it is a needless confrontation. I don't think that it will serve anybody's interest to want to antagonize, these numbers. I mean, it is in the interest of the police to of the marchers.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll be talking to someone who could talk Black shortly, but what we can see out of us forcing is urging the protesters to move, to follow him. At this point, we don't know what is going to happen. Avenue Road. Let's see if we can talk to the minority leader, Kasala Tufosin. Leader, we are live on Joy News right now. We are live on Joy News. Minority leader. Okay, let's see if we can get a word from you. I'll come back to you. Okay, he's what's going to happen at this point. He's in the company of some police officers. Remember, this has been the source of disagreement between personnel of the Ghana Police Service and the organizers of this demonstration.
What do you have to put
Let's see what is going to happen right now. But the minority leader, Kasala Tufosin, seemed to agree that the agreement was to use the Castle Road. Yeah. So I have with me here the National Youth Organizer of the NDC, George Opariado. National Youth Organizer of the NDC. A lot of the people taking part in this protest are young people, are the youth. What you've seen the source of disagreements here. The demonstrators saying they want to use the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue Road down to the CBD, to the BOG. Police says they should use the Castle Road. As a National Youth Organizer, what are you telling them?
We agreed before this demonstration on a certain route we are using. The route was to go through this road in front of the party office and then proceed towards the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. Unfortunately, we got here this morning and then the police have changed the rules of the engagement. But we've agreed with the police that we are going to take this immediate turn.
The Castle.
Yeah, the Castle Road. And then go all the way through the Rage Hospital and then towards the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. Okay. So as you can see, the crowd have started moving.
Okay. But that's contrary to what the demonstrators want. They say they want to use the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue down to the CBD.
The original routes we agreed on was going through the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue route.
Yeah.
But this morning, I understand the police had a press conference yesterday and altered the route. But our leadership, together with the police, have agreed as of this morning that we are going to resort to this route. So that is exactly what we are going to do.
So the road we are taking right now is the Kojo Thompson Road. This is Kojo Thompson Road.
Yeah, the Castle Road.
No, the Castle Road is where you have the Holy Spirit Cathedral.
No. So we are going through this route, through Rage Hospital, so Holy Spirit Cathedral, through Rage Hospital, and then towards the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum.
What they did to us on Thursday and on Saturday, Friday, by stopping us of going through the Julobi Thief House, they are doing the same thing today, right? By this, they are doing the same thing today, stopping.
So you can see that is the sign for you, Castle Road.
Good.
And that is what the protesters have been directed to use. In fact, you saw the to force in rushing here to calm down the protesters, to tell them that this is the route they agreed. This is the route they agreed with the police. So the protesters, the demonstrators, should use this route. The demonstrators, however, disagree with the leadership.
What do you mean? Ajumani kronim. Luto kakra metano. Osatimetas. Mechosu pobet. Otimetas. Yes, I to Abamao. And let me go worry so every day. Ola Satimetas. Messi. Akakraboni. Osobe Segana, my say. Akufadwe. Osobe Segana, my say.
Essentially, what he was saying is that President Akufo-Addo, the government is taxing their lottery wins. The government is also taxing their bets. And he says he fears that when he's going to get married, the government will tax him for getting married as well.
You the banks are supposed to do this one.
You GN Bank, are you a former worker of GN Bank?
A former worker of GN Bank.
And what are you saying? Nanado revoked BOG and Ministry of Finance license and restored GN Bank.
And restored GN Bank.
Yes.
Why?
So what have you been doing now? You've been unemployed?
No.
You are unemployed now?
I'm unemployed.
How long have you been unemployed?
For 4 years.
For 4 years?
For 4 years, since 2019, I've been unemployed. I'm unemployed. You understand? You know that the banks, the owners of the banks in this country are hypocrites. They are supposed to do this. They are supposed to do this. What do you call this demonstration? You understand? Because now look at the introduction of the DDEP. They have introduced those programs to destroy the banks. You understand? They are supposed to do what? They are supposed to do this demonstration. Not even the citizens. The banks in Ghana are supposed to do this. The financial institutions in Ghana are supposed to do this demonstration. Yeah, because of what they introduced. You know, the banks they've lost all their capitals. They've lost all their capitals. Now. Is calling for recapitalization. They are supposed to do this demonstration, not even the citizens. The banks, Commercial Bank, ADB, Fidelity, EcoBank, they are supposed to do this demonstration. It is very, very bad. It is very, very bad. Serious.
What's your
supposed to do this?
What's your name?
My name is Philip Sapia.
Philip, I'm interested.
Demonstration.
I'm interested. You are saying that you've been unemployed for 4 years.
For 4 years.
How have you been feeding your family? How can
I feed them? How can I feed them? How can I feed them? I'm struggling. How can I feed my family? I can't feed them.
Not at all.
I can't feed them, not at all. I have no job. I have nothing doing. How can I feed my family? I can't feed them. I can't feed them. So you can still ask me questions for me to answer you. I can't feed my family. They are struggling. As I'm talking to you, my child's school fees, my children's school fees has been piled up. Now I'm looking for money to go and pay those monies. You understand? So it's difficult for me to pay their fees and they're able to feed them.
Welcome to Joy News.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, tell us, you've been walking from Zeko all the way to this point. What has the experience been like for you?
Well, it's been very good. The enthusiasm is high, the commitment is high. We are fighting to relieve Ghana from the troubles we are going through, from Nanado, supported by a fraudulent Bank of Ghana transaction that wasted so much money, more than 60 billion gone wasted. So it's important for us to demonstrate our anger and our frustrations, because this is a government we had confidence in because of the promises they have made, and see what is Omia said about Bank of Ghana being the source of our income, that we were borrowing too much. There was so much money in Bank of Ghana. Today, after spending everything in Bank of Ghana, they have overshot the balance by 66 billion Ghana cedis. And I've gone ahead to also we all know is that it's a source of siphon of money into private pockets. We can't be in a country with these kinds of things happening around us.
Okay, thank you very much. Member of Parliament, Rashid Koku. We also have Johnson is here to Nketia. Let's see if it will be possible for us to speak to him. Chairman, we are live on Joy News right now. We're live on Joy News. And in a country where numbers matter a lot in demonstrations, you've seen the number. What's your own estimation of the numbers here today?
Well, it's overwhelming, and I guess you have to bear the testimony. I cannot be testified for myself. But as I promised you in the studio last night, that this is a demonstration for the youth. The youth is taking control of their future. I think the youth has responded, and I think I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
And I'm also impressed about the activism of all our members of parliament. They've done extremely well under the new leadership.
Okay.
And I think that going forward, we are heading towards victory.
You described the Bank of Ghana as a crime scene.
Yes.
You said it's not a security zone.
Yes.
And you're saying that it's important for the numbers here to occupy the BOG.
Yeah, but that is...
Don't you think that's a recipe for chaos?
No, the actual recipe for chaos is the mismanagement at the place and the refusal of leadership of the country to discipline people and hold them to account for wrongdoing. If you have a bank which is supported by its own regulations and the governor and leadership of the bank, they flout their own laws with impunity, they need to go. That's all, because we are in crisis and we want to take this nation out of the crisis. And the same people, the same style of thinking that created the problem cannot be relied upon to solve that problem. And I'm happy that the IMF is in town. Today, the Commonwealth speakers of all the Commonwealth countries are in town. Members of Parliament from Commonwealth countries are in town. The hypocrisy of this government has been badly exposed, and I think that this is the beginning of the fall of the Akufo-Addo fraudulent government.
The fall of the government, the Akufo-Addo government.
The fall of the Akufo-Addo
fraudulent
government.
Okay, that's an adjective.
The president himself has thrown his hands out there that all these problems will be solved by the next leader. So what is he doing there? What is being paid for? You have been paid to do a job. There are problems. Everybody is rallying around the president to solve those problems. And you indicated to us even during COVID time, you know how to fix the economy, but you cannot bring people from death to life. Now these are the problems, solve them. And you say, let's wait for the next president. If we have to wait for the next president, you better pack and go home. So it saves that the salary we are paying you because you have admitted that you are not doing anything there and you cannot solve any of the problems.
Okay.
But to stand there and think that in this mess you can continue to impose another leader on us to come and continue your mess, Ghanaians will not take it.
Okay. Finally, before you go, Chairman, so the goal is to occupy the road in front of the Bank of Ghana? Are you going to go there, or is the leadership that will go?
You talk to the leadership. I am here to show solidarity to the youth.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of the planning of the route.
Okay.
And so they will tell you where we are passing. But wherever they are passing, I'm with them. If we have to sleep, I'll sleep with them.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we just had NDC Chairman Johnson is here doing Ketia. Earlier, the Bank of Ghana actually as a crime scene and said they are going to occupy the Bank of Ghana, the central bank actually. He said that is the goal and that is where they want to get to. Let's try and speak to more people. Mr. Sosu, you've also seen the numbers here.
We'll go forward a bit.
You've also seen the numbers here. Want to find out what you make so far of this protest?
Well, I think that it's been very massive. It tells you how prepared Ghanaians are to pour out their disappointments and disagreements. I've always said that in every democracy, the only tool available to citizens to freely express their grievances is the ability President of the Republic. We are only taking on an institution of state. This institution is supposed to be independent, and this institution is supposed to of this country manage our monetary policy, manage our fiscal policy. For badly mismanaged, the BOG. And remember that recently, one of the reasons why most banks were collapsed where I would say, well, let me put it